Today we're exploring community as a business pathway. Community is often taken or talked about as belonging, connection, or audience. But as a business model, community is an infrastructure. It carries responsibility, continuity, and long-term stewardship. In this conversation, we're not here to talk about engagement tactics or platform features. We're here to look at fit. We'll explore what community building actually asks of someone over time, where the real work sits, how responsibility compounds, and who this pathway generally serves in different life seasons. The goal isn't to convince you to build a community, it's to help you understand whether this model fits you now. Let's get started. Welcome, Phil. I'd love to ask you to introduce yourself. Um, Take it away.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, first and foremost. As Kim mentioned there, my name is Phil. I'm currently in Canada, Nova Scotia, Canada, originally from Tennessee, so a little south of Nashville in a little town called Columbia, Tennessee. Um, Met my wife almost 3 years ago now, and that's what brought me to Canada. And we actually run our business full time. Well, I run our business full time on school. So what we do in a nutshell is we help people migrate their business to the school platform. We're big believers in the community platform, especially the community-based business model heading into this year, even more so now than ever. I think with some of the things I know that will be brought up in today's conversation, I'm going to be able to touch on some of those points, but um, we're all in for 2026 and community building, and I'm excited to share some more information as we go along here.
Awesome. Well, Phil, you say you're building a community-based business actually means in practice.
I think for me, honestly, just building a community-based business is simple. And the way I'll define it here is simple, is what I should say. It's like just providing a safe space for people to go away from social media and just a focused area where people can come and feel like they're not going to be judged. Um, they're going to be able to show up as they are, whether they are beginner, intermediate level or expert, and just know that there's no distractions and it's a place we can all collaborate and hang out and like they say, like learn and grow together. That's really what a community-based business means to myself.
Fantastic. So, in your experience, what life season does building a community-based business generally work well for?
I think there's a lot of variables there for me, but I personally feel like it can work well for anybody. It's just a matter of the main determining factor is how willing are you and able to dedicate a specific window of time to creating one. I'm learning that it is a lot of work. I won't sugarcoat it, but with the right people in place and the right community as you build it, the members will help you grow it. So um, I honestly can't put it at any best season fit. If I had to choose one, I think starting one part-time is perfectly fine. You don't have to go all in right at the beginning. Um, so yeah, I think there's a few variables there for me, but to put it on one point, I'd say a part-time thing would be probably an ideal place to start.
Perfect. And who would you say tends to struggle most with this model, even if they're capable or experienced? Like, what situations would make it quietly unsustainable?
I think anybody that has a successful business model already and they don't necessarily want to like rock the boat, you know what I mean? And like don't fix it if it's not broke. However that phrase goes, you know. I
Yeah, yeah.
think if someone wanted to transition to a community model, I think it's possible. But I think if you're in that season where everything's working, you're good, like, don't mess with something that's already proven. But I also will say this is like I have a little bit of a hard time answering this because I simply know that if somebody wants a model to work and if they want it badly enough and you are willing to put in the work, you'll find a way to make it happen. And that's a beautiful thing about community, as I mentioned a little bit ago, is the members will help you just as much as you, the owner, can get in there and help other people out. So um, I think that it's just, the worst season to sum that all up is if you already have something going good, like don't mess with it. You know what I mean? I would say maybe do one for fun on the side, but don't try to transition your whole business into it if it's not, something that you think you could easily do, I guess is the right way to answer that.
But
So,
um, you know, if you had a brick and mortar type business, is building community in this way that you guys are doing it something that they could consider adding on?
I think a community aspect for brick and mortar could have a place. And a good example, the first thing that pops into my head would be something as in like, we'll say subscription boxes. So if there's a boutique or a makeup store who like, they're trying to find creative ways to how can we boost, engagement? How can we boost sales? How can we make this fun for people? Maybe they look into a community as far as like a subscription box model, and like host all their stuff on the school platform or any, community platform for that sense. I think there could be
Yeah,
good use cases, but depending on the business.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, so with this pathway, um, assumptions about someone's time, energy, emotional capacity do we need to think about here? And what do people consistently underestimate?
Um, this one, this one could be a little tricky, to be honest. From my personal experience, I think the hardest part for getting a community up and rolling and going is getting members to like actually show up and engage. And I know Kim, for you, you see that as well. And even with the growth we've experienced, it's still like it's a lot of work to get people to engage sometimes. But I think if you want to feed off of that, a lot of people really underestimate the amount of time that you have to put in to like learn your members and like see what they want and the questions you have to ask. So, another thing that gets underestimated is the amount of time it takes to grow a community organically. While I think like organic growth is like the best way to create a highly engaging community, like from the start, you're going to grow a little slower, but you're getting in higher quality members versus, we run ads to our community, which that was the choice we wanted to make. And we're growing and I'm getting, decent people in there, but it's kind of like give and take, to each their own as far as underestimating how much work it actually takes to grow a community is what I'm trying to get at there.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Okay. So when community building works well, what does it enable that other pathways don't? Where's the real leverage showing up over time?
I love this question. For me, and I think anybody listening to this or watching this, I think we all know that building trust inside a community can happen a lot quicker than it can on, let's say, a social media profile. For one, your members are like they've already made a little micro commitment to join your community. So that's kind of like a little yes, saying, okay, yeah, I like this. This person seems cool. Let's go on, like, get on the inside. And then I believe the real leverage starts happening, like, once they see the value of being surrounded by others who have a common goal. Or maybe it's not a common goal, maybe it's just a common hobby or anything, essentially. That's another beauty about community is it doesn't necessarily always have to be educational. It can just be, let's get in here and hang out. Over time, that'll compound and it leads into if you have a business where you're making offers, it's going to lead to more people saying yes to your offers, no matter if it's low ticket or if it's high ticket. So I think the biggest upside and the real leverage shows up through building that trust and people seeing you and away from all the nonsense that has turned into social media, if you want to call it that.
Okay,
So,
so what's a responsibility people don't see at the beginning? I think you've kind of touched on it a little bit, but that leadership, conflict, stewardship demands that tend to surface later.
yeah, I touched on this a little bit. You're right. This is perfect because I can expand on it a little more. So, whether we want to think so or not, even though people aren't engaging, they are watching. So, um, a big thing I've witnessed is a lot of people, they're talking a big game and they're making big promises that, they can't keep. But those are also the same people who have done this inside of communities, excuse me, or on social media, that they're either no longer in the same business that they had were in before, or they're struggling to build that trust again with their audience after burning too many bridges. So I think in summary, to summarize kind of what I was saying, is the responsibility as a community owner is in the follow through with the commitments and or promises that they've made to their community. Because nothing will kill your trust faster than empty promises or trying to build something on hype. Um, and that could like go very badly very quickly if someone's not careful. I've seen it happen like several times.
Yeah,
So
100%. Okay. And again, I think you've touched on this a little bit already, but let's see if we can get a little bit deeper. What kind of skills or identity traits make someone more likely to thrive as a community builder? What kind of leadership does this pathway really need?
I think this is initially the first things that pop into my head is, you need to be trustworthy and you need to be honest and you need to be reliable. Like if you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't just like build people's hopes up and like I just mentioned, like don't build on hype.
Yeah,
Um, I think one of the biggest traits I've seen in like that's common in successful community leaders is the ability to listen more than anything. Like in build, I think Kim, you agree with this, and we've known this, we've learned from some of the same people. It's like build what they want. Like you don't have to guess at this. That's another awesome thing about community is if you listen, your members will tell you exactly what you need. It might not be direct, but you will see it. Like there will be signs, essentially. So I think
yeah,
the biggest thing is just being a better listener than you've ever been in your life is
yeah,
a big one there.
yeah. No, I'd agree with that. And for someone who feels drawn to doing something like this after hearing this conversation, what would you say is a sane first step? Where can they explore this pathway in a way that prioritizes structure and sustainability?
So I'm gonna like keep this one as simple as I can. I have a lot that I want to say with this one, but I'm just gonna keep it simple and straightforward because literally the easiest way to start not only a community, but to start anything is just to like make the decision and do it. And I know people might hear that and you might be listening to this right now and be like, duh, Phil. Like, yeah, I'm like, it can be that simple. So what we do is we encourage our members to actually have brainstorming sessions with AI. Now, I encourage anybody to do that who is tinkering with wanting to start something new or wanting to, expand what they're currently doing. Um, it could be as simple as saying, like, I want to start my own community and have your AI like say something like, please ask me as many questions as you need in order to learn about my passions or even my business, and then take that information to help me come up with ideas for my community. There's also like so many wonderful communities out there that I've recently joined that are built to help others and support them as they're building their communities. I might be a little biased towards school, but I just feel like it's just a great platform, whether you're building a community-based business model or just a fun, passion-driven community. Um, I think
Yeah,
school is
100%.
I think school is still in the grand scheme of things to finish up, the school is still very early in this. They're like 5 or 6 years old now, I believe, but I believe anyone who is starting a community on the platform is still going to be way ahead of the game. And the best time to start is now. It was yesterday, but I'll end it with that. So,
Yeah. Well, if people want to check out your community, where would they go to do that?
so anyone who wants to come hang out or come say hi or just see what we're about, it's school.com slash AI Launchpad. And that will take you straight to our about page, where you'll see you can read about what we have going on. Um, we're very, we're an AI, or we are a human first business with like AI assisted, implementation, if that makes sense. So come say hi if you want to hang out. We'll be there, ready to do the thing. So
Well, thank you, Phil. It's been wonderful having this discussion with you. Community building is often described as the center of modern online business, and for some people it is. But this conversation hopefully makes clear that community is not neutral. It concentrates responsibility, shapes power, and requires ongoing leadership. For some, community becomes the foundation that supports multiple pathways. For others, it becomes a burden they were never resourced to carry. The question is not whether community works, but rather where it belongs in your system and what you are willing to steward over time. In the next part of this series, we'll step back and look at how different pathways combine, overlap, or conflict, and what happens when businesses are built on hybrid models. As you listen, notice what felt energizing, when it felt heavy, and what assumptions have shifted for you. That information matters. I'll see you on our next video, and thanks for joining us.